Hello fruit followers and welcome back to MrMFretwell Plays Minecraft, and in today's episode we're going to be working on our first underground farm, the sugarcane farm. So as you can see, I brought down all the sugarcane I own. I got some lily pads from the swamp nearby, I've got all my sand, a good amount of cobble, some wood, spare chests, and a new diamond axe. So if you remember from the last episode, I actually said I was going to go ahead and make an axe. I've done that. Beaver. It has Unbreaking 3, Efficiency 3, which I would have preferred Efficiency 4, but that's pretty good, to be honest. And that's just in case I need to cut any wood, which is probably not going to be needed in here. But actually, yeah, it is. But I just wanted to show off that I do actually have that diamond axe now. So, for this particular farm, I'm just going to kind of not really give it any real structure, so to speak. I want it to be 3 high, I know that. While the entire farm is probably going to be 4 high, I'm going to try and keep to the natural cave that we've got going on here. Rather than trying to sort of make it into like this square thing, I would prefer to keep it a bit more natural in here, and I've got a sugarcane design on the wiki, the most efficient design that I think I can make in this underground area here, which is actually going to be of use to me, so that's also good news. Now, I do have a bit of filling in to do here, which is why I brought the cobble along with me. This is going to be great just to have it here, just next to where we need it to be. I'm going to fill this in a minute, but I just want to kind of get the whole thing leveled out as best as I can, ready to actually start building in the sugarcane design. So I'm probably going to use a fair bit of my pick again here. For example, this right here, I'm going to leave that now, but this here, all of this is going to be moved, but anything above that is just going to kind of stay the same. So that's the kind of look I'm going for. So why don't we fill this in, and let's get this in here, like so, and you in here, and now we can start and level it off. I will replace what needs to be replaced with smooth stone later, probably nothing actually, because it's all going to go on sand. So that's the kind of the look I'm going for with this particular farm's design. I'm going to pull all of this out right here, and I'm going to mould the cave a bit, obviously. I'm not just going to leave it jutted out like this and leave it half finished. I will kind of mould it to the shape a bit better, but I just want to kind of get this farm cleared out first. In terms of what we've got going on here, there is a cave underneath here which we're going to have to get rid of. Unfortunately, we can't use that because it's just kind of in the way. And I want a fairly large farm. It doesn't have to be massive, but I do want to have a good amount of room to actually work in here. And I'm also going to need places for chests, storage, crafting tables. Those kind of things are all going to have to go in here, so we want to have that as well. We don't need furnaces in here though, and I'm not going to put an ender chest in here because that would be a bit of a waste if you ask me. To be quite honest, what am I going to need an ender chest for? There's one right there, so I'm not going to waste another eye of ender on that. So let's fill in the remainder of this section, and there. So as you can see, the design is starting to come together a bit better now than it was. Got some more iron there, which I'm going to snag. There's a bit more iron here as well. Can I get down there? Well, I guess I could do this, because I would like to collect all the iron. I don't have a ton of it, so I would like some more if I can. I've got more iron up here as well, which is always good news. There we go. Now this is quite low here, so we're going to bring this all out. And this is why I have a worker pickaxe, because man do I use this guy a lot for these particular big builds. I mean, after I've probably done them, the worker pick won't get used as much, but for right now it's certainly going to need to be used, so let's take advantage of that. We have even more iron. This we may fill in up to here, I'm thinking, because that's going to be a bit pointless. Although I could actually convert this into storage right here. if I block this in and block that in, we could convert that into a little storage area maybe. So here we want to get rid of that stuff there. I do want, as I say, the whole farm to be 4 high, to give me room for lighting and stuff in here. If I decide I want to have hanging lighting or whatever, it's going to be best that I do that. So there we go. Let's start and just level this off just a little bit. Doesn't need too much work obviously, but it does need a little bit of work. In terms of what we've got going on here, I think I'm just going to fill that actually in. And same goes for up here really, because it's not really needed. I could potentially bring that whole thing out and just chop the whole thing out, but maybe we'll see what it's like without that. And now we have this to take care of, and this kind of goes outside, so I'm thinking of just blocking this in. There we are. So now we've got a nice open area to work with, and obviously subject to a bit of carving around here, we're pretty well good to go. Now I'm going to fill that in. This seems a bit squarish, I'm not going to lie. Let's try and mold this a little better. So let's just do that. Why don't we chop this out as well, make it a bit more like that. There we go. And now we've got that, which I don't know why that's really there. So as you can see now, we've kind of carved this room out to be a lot more open than it was, which is what we are trying to go for. If it goes higher in the cave like this, I'm just going to leave it alone, because it's really not too much of a concern. It's just, unless I need to play around with lighting, then I may move it later, but for right now it's going to be fine. So let's get our brand spanking new diamond axe out and give it a test run. No point having these things unless you're going to use them, so yeah, it's not too bad. I kind of wish it was the efficiency 4, but I won't complain. More iron, never turn more iron down. And when I say I haven't got a lot, I've got a few stacks, but it's not a lot for things that I may end up needing it for, so it's always good to collect it when you see it. So let's take these guys out. Now, I'm not too bothered about having to fill all these things in, because it is, to a degree, well lit down there, so there's not too much of an issue as regards that. Oh great, we've got a ton of gravel. Not what I wanted to see. Let me see here. Now, as regards that microphone issue that I was talking about last episode, I think I may have found the problem. It's my little cable thing. I've got like a little cord that attaches. I may be accidentally rubbing that, and that is what the mic is actually picking up. That may not be the case, but I think it is. I think that is what we've actually been seeing throughout my videos. It's just been rubbing up against me or whatever, and that's kind of been the problem that we've actually had. So yeah, now then, let's get this pathway sort of fairly well established. This is why I brought the wood with me. I have a little cubby down here. Got a nice, ooh, what's down here? I have no idea what is down there. Well, never mind. It won't be too important, I don't think. So now I'm just going to come and collect all my cobble back, and we're going to start putting in the wood, which I just so happen to have right here. I've got plenty of it now. And obviously I'll come back and add the pumpkins and the pistons in here later. I just kind of want to get the shape together right now. That's something that I can do off camera between this and probably the next episode. So let's see now, we want that there, and we want to put that there. Let's kind of now work it a bit further around like that. Now some of this may end up becoming a bit irrelevant because of how the farm is designed. Like for here, for example, I don't really know what we're going to do with this. we may end up doing something with it. I may end up filling it in. I just don't know yet, unfortunately. Man, look at my worker pick. It's drained already. It's already been through one repair cycle. It's going to be going through another one, it seems, fairly soon. I don't know how many times I can repair it. I think you can technically infinitely repair them, but it has to be done like one diamond at a time or something crazy like that for 36 levels. That is okay if you have a really high yielding experience farm, something like an Enderman farm or whatever, but for use with a zombie grinder, it's not really the ideal solution there. Now, I may not have enough planks to get all the way around. If I don't, that's not too much of a worry, but I can always fix that up again, as I say, at a later date. So here we go. Let's get this in. No, we're not going to have enough, I don't think. Way more than 16 there. But we get the idea, and that was what I was trying to go for here. We've got the early stages of it going, so here we are. So now I'm going to need an infinite spring. Who's a lurking? I know you're out there. Yeah, there's a skelly. I hear a skelly. Well, I'm sure he'll find us. Now, where do I want to put this infinite spring? Maybe I'm just going to have to tear this up for the time being and put it here because I don't really have anywhere to put it in there. So now this sugarcane farm design. Let me see here. This is where it's getting a little bit more complicated because I need to get the water right. So why don't we start in the center of the room and put a water source down, and now we need to go here and put another one down, and it kind of just goes in like this sort of, well, I don't really know, I don't think that's right actually. It goes across one, then up two, so right here is where the other one goes. Now I'm going to need more water. I don't have that many buckets, which is going to make this quite the tedious task, but now I believe you do that again and again. Basically you go in this sort of staggered pattern, so you go basically two down from where your previous source block is, and then you go one to the left. So for example this would be here, and then again you go two down and then one to the left, and you put that there, and it sort of creates this somewhat staggered design. And then as you go across, that's something else completely to talk about, but so we go two down, across one. So it's kind of like basically, yeah, there's like a little two there. So there, we're getting towards the front of the room. There we go, so I can kind of see it coming together. In terms of going across, it's basically the same, but say for the other side you go two up and then one to the left. No, it doesn't need to be diagonal, that's what we don't want. So we need it to be kind of like staggered, and then obviously you can go back down here and you start putting them in like this, and this is the kind of layout that you need to go for. And for me it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's what's on the wiki, and it says it's 80% efficient, so I do want to cram in as much as possible in this particular thing that I can. And obviously I'm going to start putting the sand down here. Now I don't think you can actually plant sugarcane diagonally. I've never tried it. So why don't we try that now? Because if you were to go two down and then one to the left, you would go there. So can we plant sugarcane diagonally? No. Alright, well, we know that now. So there'll obviously have to be another water source. But all of these tiles, for example, you can actually place sugarcane on, and it gets it quite compacted in here. So I guess that's going to be the idea in what we're doing, and I think it would make more sense for me now to tear up the floor and make it all sand before I put all the water in, because at that point it's then going to be harder to try and make it so that infinite water sources don't form. So I think that's going to be the next thing, and I don't have much sand, so we're probably going to have to go and get some more, and then actually finish it off, and I'll put the layout in. Probably finish it, I'll get some more planks and finish that up. And I've heard about the whole myth of it growing faster on sand, and I do know that it's total nonsense really, but I do like the look sand gives, so I do want to kind of incorporate that. I don't want to use dirt all the time. I want to vary it up from, in fact it would be grass, wouldn't it, because that would spread. So I don't want that particularly, and I think that there should be like a wooden barrier there to kind of define the room, so to speak. So I think that's the look I'm going to go for, and then I can obviously start filling in the various different bits and pieces in here as and when I need them. But then back here I'm going to have the opportunity to kind of have like a little place to walk to and have chests and stuff in here where I can actually store everything that I want. No, there's always a bunch of gravel where you don't want it. In the most awkward of places. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and get a bunch of sand from the nearby desert. We're going to need to dig a bit of a sand pit and get a bit more sand going. And I will probably, I will make this all sand. I'll finish up the pathway that we've got going around the edge, and I'll probably catch you on the flip side of that when I'm ready to think about chests and planting the sugarcane in here, and also thinking about lighting as well. I'm also going to tidy up the walls as well and get all of that cleaned so that we can actually have nice walls, because I think it'll be awful to try and do while the sugarcane is in here. So we're going to do that off camera as well, and I will probably catch you on the flip side of that. So I'll be right back, guys. Right guys, so I've been working on this for a good while now and I've pretty much finished it. Here is the finished result. I blocked that in. I'm going to actually put my storage for the stuff over here in this little cubby that we've got off the main room here. And for the lighting in the ceiling, I decided to go with these hanging jack-o'-lanterns, and I really like them. I think they are a bit different. I've obviously got my piston lighting in here as well for the floor-based lighting. I'm now going to put that in there to show that it is the sugarcane farm. I also want to grab some more glass, and I made a little window right here so that we can actually peer in and see what's cooking in there, if anything, and see what it's fully grown. Then that looks pretty cool to have in there. So we can put that away for the time being. So now basically everything in this area is sorted apart from the sugarcane itself and the little work area that we're going to need. Now my inventory is pretty empty, so I should be able to pick this stuff up. Yeah. All the sugarcane, I want all of it. So in this corner right here we have got like this little workspace. I want to get some chests down in here. Actually no, I don't want to do that. I want to do this and this, and then let's make one of you and put you in there in case we need to craft anything. And I think that then I've got room for extra storage. I can kind of stack the boxes up. Although, no, that would then make the crafting table kind of go out of position. I've got an idea. Crafting table can go here. And then if I put the wood up there, yes, that looks great. Now, I will need to get another wooden plank and put that up there, and then I'll be able to kind of stack the chests up. And that is going to give me 10 double chests in here when the farm is totally full. And I think at that point I won't need any more sugarcane. I'm not going to lie, that's a hell of a lot of sugarcane to have. I don't think I'm going to need any more. So now let's get to planting these things. So let's see how efficient this design really is. I'm just going to go along in rows along the sand and kind of see... Whoops. Kind of see how good this thing is and what it can actually do for me, and see how many of these sugarcane crops that I have lying around from the farm upstairs I can now put down here. And while I am doing this, the next farm that we are going to be working on is the melon and pumpkin farm, and that's going to be going in a different area to this. This is the only farm that's going to be in this part of the base. The remaining farms are going to be in a dedicated area. We still have... I don't know whether that just grew or whether it was the result of me placing it on top. I think I placed it there. We're going to work on that, and then we need to start and think about getting the animal farms underground at that point. We do have to think about those and all that fun stuff. Along with obviously the melons and the pumpkins, the cocoa bean, the cactus, nether wart. I need to get near my brewing room when we get that done. So there's a lot to do in getting the farms down here. This is going to be one of the biggest projects by far, but I think we will see the rewards of it. I mean, I am kind of no expense spared on anything that I'm doing in this base. I'm having items, and I'm having lots of them, and I'm trying to incorporate things that I wouldn't normally do, like this. I would never normally do. The redstone that I've put into things like the furnace room, the storage room, and various different things like that, I would never normally do in vanilla. It's just I've decided to do it in this series just for the fun of it, and I think so far it's paying off quite nicely. So I can store my spare sugar canes away. I have some more lily pads for when we work on some other farms. I got 44 left after completing this, and this is a lot of sugarcane, and the idea is I can just go basically when it's full, and then harvest it all, and then put them in the chests in the corner here, and then once they get full, then I probably won't harvest it anymore. They'll just kind of sit there until I end up using them. And paper is kind of handy because you can make books with it, and you can also trade to villagers. If we happen to get a villager that wants to trade paper, then that can be a good way for me to get emeralds by having a high capacity sugarcane farm like this one. And I've double checked all the lighting levels, everything's bright enough everywhere. I did spend a bit of time working on that. Really love this window. I may extend this so that you can actually walk right up to the window and see what's cooking out there, but for right now I'm quite happy with how it is. I really like the hanging jack-o'-lanterns. If you notice, they're over lily pads so it won't block sugarcane growth, so it won't interrupt the efficiency, and I think light does have an impact on whether sugar canes will grow or not, so the extra light will certainly help there. So now that's the sugarcane farm complete. So over there we have the Spider XP farm slash string farm, which I've not got around to working on yet, but we will do fairly soon. Up that way is the portal. I may put like little signs around maybe and do something like that. We still need to get a bedroom in here somewhere where I can put my bed. We still need obviously the remainder of the farms in here, but we have a storage room now, we have a furnace room, jukebox setup, a little crafting area, the tree farm, the zombie grinder. There's going to be more farms down there. On this wall I want to put an ender pearl station at some point. I have something in mind for this wall which I think is going to be pretty cool. That wall I have something in mind which we're going to be doing fairly soon. Down there I've not really made my mind up what's going to go down there. In those two is going to be more farming stuff. But I've not really made my mind up what's going down here yet. But no doubt in due course we will actually find something worthwhile to put down there. And obviously I've got the clock and map over here. I was thinking of putting my bedroom maybe right here at the bottom of the stairs, because we have this little bit of room here and I don't need a huge amount of room to do a nice bedroom, but we are going to need a proper place for my bed because I currently don't have one. It's just either upstairs or by the farm upstairs or whatever, so I do want to kind of get that addressed fairly soon. And does that look cool? I love the little window in there and you can see how things are coming on. I must say I really like how the space is turning out. A lot of stuff has gone on in here now and I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I know that I wasn't 100% sure how I would like certain things and whether I would like this style, but overall I'm really liking it, to be honest, as things get added. And it kind of looked a bit lonely at first and a bit excuse me, a bit dilapidated because it was very empty. I bet a few of you remember not 10 episodes ago this place was just an absolute mess. There was just mineshaft all running through it, and to a degree there still is, but I've gotten rid of most of that stuff now. I've spent a lot of time, even off camera, just cleaning little bits and pieces up, and we still have more to do. I mean, there's stuff like this and that still to clean up yet, but we get to that in time. And hopefully fairly soon we can, once we've got the farms down here, we can start thinking about adding some cool stuff down here, and also what I want to do with the surface, because once all the farms and stuff are down here, then we've got a huge area up there on the surface that we can actually play with and use without having to worry about intercepting something else that's going on. I may actually, thinking about it, put the brewing room down here. That might be something to go down there. Brewing room perhaps. I'm not sure what we're going to do with this area here beyond this section. We may come up with something, we may not, but overall definitely really liking this space now. I need to find a way of getting rid of all these darn torches because the problem I'm finding here is I do want to get rid of them all eventually. When I've kind of figured things out a little more, I would like to get rid of as many torches as I possibly can in this base, because they just look ugly in the middle of the grassy floor. I don't really like that look. Whereas you see in things like the tree farm that are now finished, there's no torches in here at all. If you look inside the tree farm, there's none in here. There's none in the sugarcane farm now. I actually took all of that down. Off camera not long ago I took all of that stuff down, as you can see in here, completely empty of torches. The zombie grinder doesn't have any torches in it, the furnace room doesn't have any in it, and the storage room doesn't have any in it. Up here still does have quite a bit of torch love in here, but that will be again phased out in time. along with this, I still need to put my iron bars and glowstone combo here, and my piston pumpkins. Well, they're not mine, but you get what I mean. I want to put the piston pumpkins up here. That's what I'm calling those things as well. But we've pretty much nailed most of the areas that I've worked on in terms of not needing things like torches. So, as you can see, sugarcane farm is kind of irrelevant. I'm going to leave it here though because it looks nice. So next on the agenda is to get the melons and pumpkins downstairs. Then we will be looking at getting wheat and carrots down. And after that it will be potatoes that we'll put somewhere. And obviously nether wart when we get our brewing room set up. And I'm thinking for the carrots, the wheat, the potatoes, the melons and pumpkins and the nether wart, we're going to automate those to a degree with hoppers and stuff. Because I do want to do a bit more redstone stuff. I think it's more fun to just shear the sugarcane than it is to have it automatically harvested. And if I want a lot of the stuff, then I can't really do it automatically. And we've also got to get cactus down here and set up a very small automatic cactus farm, which will be totally automatic because I can use blocks to break off cacti and then they will fall down a water chute and be collected by a hopper and go into a chest, so I can have a fully automatic cactus farm. And I don't know where I'm going to put the cactus farm yet. I have no idea. I'm thinking maybe down there because I don't have much down there. These are going to be where the animal farms are going to be. Pigs and cows, chickens, and eventually sheep when I get those down here. Sheep are going to be the hardest ones to do because I'm going to have to make 16 different pens. And that would be very hard to automate, so I may just make that a enter the pen type area and shear, and just have maybe 3 or 4 of each sheep type in a big pen, and then just go and shear them all as and when, and then just collect the wool, because there's no way of manually shearing them. I mean automatically shearing them, sorry, without actually having to go in there and shearing them yourself. So, it's growing, look. I will look into something to do with the sheep farm fairly soon. But for right now, the priority is getting the crops underground, and sheep will probably be one of the last things to get done in terms of farming, because I don't need sheep as much as I need things like cows and pigs and wheat and carrots and potatoes and that kind of thing. I don't need sheep as much as that, because I can just fairly easily get a good supply of wool just by even going out and shearing, to be honest, in the wild, because there is a lot of sheep in my area. If you actually see in here in the storage room, I have a lot of wool, and I don't use it that often, but maybe as we get into bigger redstone projects and when I get the new test base going, we may need a lot of wool for that. So yeah, overall I'm pretty happy with what we've achieved today. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you in the next episode, when we will be looking at the melon and pumpkin farm. And that's quite a short one, in all honesty, so we may get something else in. I may go hunting for cocoa beans and get those in at the same time. Maybe melons and pumpkins, cocoa beans and cactus could go down here, because they're kind of lesser well-known things, so we may have that option there. And we do have a fair bit of room, although no we don't, do we? We don't have much room at all between where the tree farm ends. I was thinking I might be able to get them in along this back wall, but that's going to interfere with the tree farm. And I do want to put the animal pens behind the back of this, so I'm going to have to kind of work that a little bit and see where we can get from there, as to where I want to put them for the best, really. I may end up going down here. There's nothing down here, and I have no real plans. This is where the tree farm is, right here. These are where I blocked it off. So we have this area, so I may kind of have a stairwell down here. And then we can access those down there if we so want them. I just saw that crow. But I'm really impressed with the sugarcane farm. It's going to serve me well. So, yeah, until next time, guys, see you later, and have a good day.